Hello, welcome to The Musician's Journey. I'm George Martin. As I always say on this series of videos, I'm in the middle of recording a country song based on a formula by the wonderful YouTuber Steve Terreberry. Link in the description, but don't head off just yet, because what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be re-recording the vocals, which I won't show you much, if any, of, because that was all in the last video. It's the same vocals, it's the same video, just hopefully better vocally. I shall then be comping the vocals, taking the best bits of each take and putting it all into one track to get a really good take, hopefully. And again, I won't show you much of any of that because I've covered comping in previous videos, links in the description. Then I shall use Synchro Arts Repitch to sort out the tuning, any tuning issues that I may find, and I'm sure I will find a lot, followed by sorting out the timing. If there's any timing issues where it wasn't on the beat or it didn't sound right, I came in too early, too late, whatever, I shall sort them out. And then I'm going to do something called vocal thickening. And then finally, I shall be taking my vocal track and creating some harmonies for various parts of the song, for sort of backing vocals and harmonies. None of this I've done before. So let's go over to the DAW and have a look what I've currently got. Okay, so here we are in the DAW. I've got all my tracks in folders and all folded up, hidden out the way. And you can see that what I've done in order to try and make this vocal a bit better, I put a piano vocal guide in. It will be the vocal guide that I need to try and pitch the notes when I'm singing along. So it sounds like. So that will just play in the background and I'll be able to hear it in my ears when I'm singing. Time to go and do that. And I'll catch up with you in a minute, or probably an hour. Because I had a melody to sing to, I didn't need to do quite as many takes as I did before. So you can see here, these are the various takes. This is just listening to it without having touched it at all.
Got my big black 4x4, gonna put the pedal to the floor, so you can run me down no more.
So what I'm going to do now is the comping part of it. And again, I have covered comping of guitars, bass. So you've seen comping before in previous videos. I'll show just a little bit here. So what you do with comping is you listen through to the song and you try to find the best take of vocal sections.
Got my big black 4x4, got my big black 4x4.
So that second one we listened to sounds a bit flat.
Got my big black.
Not big. Whereas this one.
Got my big black.
Got my big.
Got my big.
Got my big. So the second take I listened to, not good enough.
Got my big black 4.
That sounds a bit flat as well.
Got my big black.
And that's the one that's actually showing. So I'm happy with that first phrase. Happy as I can be as the best of the takes that I've got. So let's carry on. I'm going to work my way through the song. You don't need to watch it all over again. I'll record it, I'll speed it up, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Right, well, that's the vocal comped. You can see I've taken lots of little bits and pieces from the various different takes and made one track. So now I'm going to use Repitch. I didn't actually find any timing issues. I've listened through to it quite a few times, as you can imagine, and the timing sounds pretty good. I think there was one little bit off time, and I corrected that while I was doing the comping. So timing correction, no problem. So the next bit is to work with this in Repitch. This will be fun. I've never used Repitch before. I have watched several videos, so I've got a rough idea of what I need to do with it. So let me audio edit with Repitch. Repitch doesn't need to, you don't have to capture it, you don't have to play it in real time, it's just there. There's the notes. There are the notes that Repitch has assigned to this. I've got it on chromatic scale, just in case it didn't recognise the key that I'm in, which is E major. And you can see, this note here, is halfway between C sharp and D. Obviously it should be a C sharp. It's in the key of E major. Without having done anything else, let's now see what it sounds like.
Got my big black 4x4, gonna put the pedal to the floor.
This software it's a bit flaky. I had a bit of a play with it, nothing to do with this song, just to get used to the key controls, and they were all working fine as per the video tutorial, and now they're not working. It's supposed to be able to just hit the backslash key and it will play that note that I've got selected, and it's not doing it, which is going to make this whole editing experience bloody painful, I would think. That one there is not working. That's supposed to be a pitch and a shift and a zoom. I have to switch over to the zoom tool, and I'm supposed to be able to select a load of notes and hit play, and nothing is happening. Yeah, it's going to make it a bit difficult, but anyway. So what we've got here is this blue block is a note, and in fact it looks like it's almost a sound block. So it could be one note, it could be two notes, it could be, but let's have a listen to what it is.
You're the one, you're the one.
So it's two words. It's found it as C sharp, D. May or may not be right. So what I need to do is scan through all of this, wishing desperately that the shortcut keys that I've got used to would work. So I've got the guide there. I've got the vocal guide, so I can see there what notes have actually worked it out to be. So that should be a C. That should be a C sharp. So I can see what notes I should have been singing, and then I can pop back into here. So I'll hover over that note there. It should have been a C sharp. Pop back into here. It should have been a C sharp, and it's popped it in a C sharp. So what I need to do is go through the whole song, listening, working out where I think it's wrong, have a look at the vocal guide, move the notes around. As well as moving the notes around, I can adjust, as I say, the vibrato. You can adjust the note length. Before I make any corrections to any of those transition blocks, any of the pitch drifts, I'm just going to work through the song, making sure that it's in tune as much as the notes that I'm singing are the notes that I've written in the vocal guide. Right, we're back again. So that's me. I've been all the way through the whole vocal and pitch corrected all of the notes that I sang. I'm going to play this section here, just one phrase, and see if you can notice the difference that the auto-tune has made. Still not the best vocal in the world, but anyway.
If you love somebody new.
So that's with the correction on. Let me just turn it off.
If you love somebody new.
I'll turn it back on.
If you love somebody new.
Quite subtle there. I'll see if I can find another part of the song.
It was me and you and me. It was me and you and me.
It is there, it's quite subtle. Most of the notes that I sang were relatively close to where I needed them to be. So anyway, that's the pitch correction done. If we just have a quick listen to the very beginning.
It was me and you and me. That's how you said it was meant to be. It was me and you and me. That's how you said it was meant to be. Definitely better with it on. Okay, so vocal thickening. This is a tutorial that I saw on Warren Hewitt's Produce Like a Pro YouTube channel. It wasn't actually Warren that did the tutorial, it was a guy called David Mood. So thank you, David. If this works, thank you. And if it doesn't, well, thank you anyway. I've written down the steps, watched the video, written down the step-by-step instructions about what I need to do, because I haven't done it before. The first thing I need to do is create 8 copies of the vocal track that I'm going to be working with. Now what I've done in advance is I've created a little folder here, and I've created 8 empty tracks. So the first thing I need to do is create 8 copies. And then if I go over to my mixer, so you can see the 8 tracks here that I've just created, and I've got them all assigned to a bus so that I can control the bus volume, and that will control the volume of all of those, and I can apply effects to the bus, and that will
affect all of those tracks. Yeah, so the next thing I have to do is I have to take 4 of these tracks and pan them all the way to the left, and 4 panned all the way to the right. There's a whole formula for what we need to do with each of these 8 tracks is slightly change the tuning of them just by a matter of sense. Not a semitone, that would be massive, but a number of cents. Cents is just a smaller increment of a change in pitch. And the other thing we'll do is we'll do some delay, either positive or minus delay on each track. So as I said, I've got it all written down here. Let's work my way through it. So this is pan to the left. This is the first one, pan to the left. This needs a 10 millisecond delay and minus 3 cents tuning correction. So I do minus 3. So now I'll go and do the ones on the right. So that's all the settings plumbed in. Now, you can see these little icons here. These little icons here, I think it's that one. It means there's some real-time effects being utilised, and we don't want real-time effects because it just uses processing power. So I just need to bounce these down, which I think is Control B. Okay, so that's the effects embedded now in the audio. So if I start playing now, nothing should come through, then I'll bring in the thicken bus a little bit by bit.
So you can run me down no more. I keep your letters by my bed. You're still messing with my head.
And then I'll bring in the actual main vocals.
I'm pulling back, but you won't let me go. If you love somebody new, let me go so I can too.
Yeah, it's very subtle. It does make, it's one singer there, obviously. Singer, loosely termed. Yeah, now let's have a listen to that in the context of the song.
You know you broke my heart when you said goodbye. You've got to let me go.
Right, so that's the vocal thickening done. Yeah, it's not complicated actually. I just made it look way more complicated than it is.
Got my big black 4x4. Gonna put the pedal to the floor.
Now that is before any EQ, any reverb, any other sort of processing that I want to do on that vocal. For the moment, I'm fairly comfortable. That sounds okay. It sounds probably as good as I'm going to get it with my level of experience on working on vocals.
So you can run me down no more. I keep your letters by my bed. You're still messing with my head. I'm pulling back, but you won't let me go.
Right, so the next thing is some harmonies. Again, I think I have the harmonies will be on a separate bus, so I can process them separately. Probably, actually, the harmonies will get processed individually as well as on the bus. I've got my main vocals, got my thickened vocals, and I'm about to do the harmonies. If I take that and create a copy of it on there, and a copy of it on there, and a copy of it on there, the first thing we'll do is mute that one and that one. So I've got to decide at what point I want harmonies, because I don't want it harmonising all the way through. It would sound like a choir, which I don't want. What I need to do now is I'm going to work through, I listen to the song until I get to the first point where I think I want to put harmonies. Okay, so I think I'm going to try it on this second line here. So the line is, so you can't run me down no more.
So you can run me down no more.
Okay, so I want to edit that with repitch.
Can't run me down no more. You can't run me.
Doesn't work.
You can't run me down no more. So you can't run me down no more.
Okay, so creating harmonies is not going to be quite as easy as I thought, but I will work with this. I'll keep doing it.
So you can't run me down. So you can't run me down no. So you can't run me down no more. So you can't run me down no more. So you can't run me down. So you can't run me down no.
What I've done in the way of harmonies is really quite simple. I've just used thirds and fifths. The chords they're primarily major chords, apart from that C sharp minor, and a major chord triad is the first note of the scale, the third note, and the fifth note. So I've made sure that when I've done the harmonies, I'm only using the first, third, and fifth. So that's the main vocal. The first harmony and second harmony will be 3 different notes, and each one will be a first, a third, or a fifth. So that's a fairly safe way of doing vocal harmonies. This is what it sounds like at the moment.
If you love somebody new, let me go so I can too. If you love somebody new, let me go so I can too.
So yeah, it sounds okay. That's what I've done throughout the track. But I want to mix it up a little bit, so I want to do a bit more work on the harmonies. I'll change some of those notes to give a little bit more of a bit more colour to it, I guess, so that it's not always just singing the chord. What I want you to look at here is if you look at this first note, it's a good example. So this white line is the drift away from centre of the note that I'm singing. So in effect, the modulation, the vibrato, if you like. If I was to sing a clear note, bang in the pitch, bang in the centre, it would be a straight line. So if you look at this first note here, you can see the modulation pattern there. If I go to harmony 1 and we look at the same note, you can see it's got exactly the same modulation. And if I was to go to the main vocal, that would look exactly the same modulation on each and every single note. The second thing is that the timing of these notes, they all start at exactly the same beat, exactly the same millisecond within the song. That means you've got 3 different notes all being sung at exactly the same time with exactly the same modulation. And that's not how singing works. Had I recorded the main vocal and then recorded a harmony part, the timing would be different, the modulation would be different. So what I want to do now is go through, I will adjust the modulation, the drift from centre, and that's quite easy done with the tools within Repitch. And then I shall use another tool here as the warp tool, and what I do here is I would place 3 warp points, as they're called. So the one on the left and the one on the right means that only what is in between those will be affected. So anything over here won't be affected, anything over here won't be affected. It will just be what I've got in the middle. So if I move this and move it to the right, what I'm actually doing is moving the note start across to the right. So it'll start at a slightly different time to a different track. And that will be slightly more natural. I'm going to leave the main vocal track as it is, and I'll work on the 2 harmony tracks. So there's 3 things I need to do: is maybe change up some of the notes, change up some of the modulation, and change up some of the timing. So I'm going to crack on with that. When I've finished, I shall be back, and we shall move on with the next bit. Right, so here I am back again. I've finished. I've finished with Repitch. I've finished the vocal thickening. I've finished working on the harmonies and a little bit of backing vocals. What we can see here is if we look, We've got this main vocal, this one here, which is the main vocal. I've got all these thickening vocals, and I went through that earlier on. And then finally I've got some harmony vocals. Some of the harmony bits appear throughout, the whole of the song, and as the song goes on, it progresses and it gets more and more until we get towards the very end, and so hopefully dynamically things will change. So what I want to do is a before and after. Bearing in mind both the before and the after will have no other plugins other than Repitch, so no EQ, no reverb, no delay, no compression, nothing like that. I'll be doing that in a later video, and I'm doing the actual sort of final mix and arranging.
I won't be a safety net, 'cause you're emotionally intact. You know you broke my heart when you said goodbye. I won't be a safety net, 'cause you're emotionally intact. You know you broke my heart when you said goodbye. Said goodbye.
I'm fairly happy with it. I know there's a lot more work to do on it. Out of everything that I've done so far, working on the vocals has been the longest process. As you've seen from this video, it's quite a journey, shall we say. Hopefully you've learned something from this. If you have, please like, please subscribe, please hit the notification, and I'll see you on the next one.